Production of Being Well is made possible in part by Sarah Bush Lincoln Health System, supporting healthy lifestyles, eating a heart-healthy diet, staying active, managing stress, and regular checkups are ways of reducing your health risks. Proper health is important to all at Sarah Bush Lincoln Health System. Information available at sarahbush.org. Rediscover Paris. Our patient care and investments in medical technology show our ongoing commitment to the communities of East Central Illinois. Paris Community Hospital Family Medical Center.
HSHS St. Anthony's Memorial Hospital, delivering compassionate care close to home. From advanced surgical techniques and testing to convenient care for your family, we promise to make a healthy difference each and every day. St. Anthony's, together, we are better.
All right, here we go. Thank you for watching this episode of Being Well. I'm your host, Keanne Armstrong, and today we're talking about weight loss management and a diet called the HMR diet. And joining me today is Kristina Adams. She's with Sarah Bush Lincoln Health Center, and she's a registered dietitian and the director of weight management and wellness.
Yes,
so,
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here today.
This is exciting.
It is exciting, and it's exciting to learn about how do I control my weight and how do I lose weight. So let's start off by talking about what is HMR.
It's actually a program called Health Management Resources is what the acronym HMR stands for. It's a company that is based out of Boston. They've been around since 1983, so over 30 years of experience in the weight loss industry. It's definitely an ongoing concern in our society today with the obesity epidemic, not only with adults but also children. So it's it's definitely a hot topic and something of concern. So HMR is definitely in the forefront to help with those.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a struggle when it comes to weight loss management and figuring out, what do I need to do? Because it's an ongoing struggle for a lot of people. And then when you do mention children, same thing there. You got to think about that when you're young, right?
Yes, for sure. HMR is traditionally catered towards 17 and older, so we do attract more of an adult population. When we look at the pediatric population, we have to be more of a family approach. So it's definitely more of a dynamic that's challenging, but we feel like if we can get mom and dad on the healthy track, then hopefully the kids will be on the healthy track too. So when we target that adult population, that's a lot of the discussions that we have with them too, is it's a family affair.
Okay. All right, so tell me about this diet. What makes this different?
HMR has traditionally been a medical monitored diet, which means there's more to it than just following a simple meal plan. I mean, there is medical monitoring that goes into it. A lot of patients come to us that are really needing to lose 50 pounds or more, but over the years it had developed into more of a moderate level healthy eating plan. So we do have folks, wanting to lose 20, 30 pounds and be able to manage that weight loss too. So we have a wide variety of programs for patients to follow. The medical monitoring is more of a clinic-based program. So that requires, regular attendance, meeting with medical providers in the office as well. We also have an at-home program, so patients that aren't able to do the clinic-based model or don't want to do that model or don't need the medical monitoring can do more of a slower pace but at-home kind of diet where they are doing it more on their terms a little bit, but actually having a meal plan to follow that gives them guidance.
Okay, and you mentioned medical monitoring, so explain that to me a little bit. Do they need to go to the regular doctor for that?
Great
or
question.
How does that start?
We actually have our own medical staff, though, so that's a little bit of what sets us apart from other programs because we have a medical director, we have nurse practitioner, we have registered dietitians, we have exercise specialists, so we have quite a range of background with the program as far as staffing and also a lot of longevity with the program. We have not only HMR having 30 years experience, but locally we have anywhere from 5 to 17 years of experience with this. So definitely a lot of credentialing, I guess, for our program. So medical monitoring means that they would see one of those providers at least weekly or every other week possibly. There's typically some lab work involved just to monitor certain electrolyte levels or liver enzyme functions. When we talk medical monitoring, the diet itself tends to be a very low calorie diet. So it does promote a little faster weight loss than conventional dieting. So that's the need for the medical monitoring piece as well. A lot of our patients come to us with medications that they're on and a lot of health problems that we need to monitor. So both of those in itself also are the part of the medical monitoring that they would do.
Okay. And do they get the medical monitoring, whether it's the at-home version as well?
Good question. It's just the clinic model. So if they come to us and are interested in medical monitoring, it is the classes, because they do need to be seen, if not weekly, every other week, and typically monthly. We do some kind of blood work or checks on them to check everything to make sure everything's going the way we want it to be going, and making sure they're doing okay with the weight loss plan as well. The at-home plan isn't the same diet, so it's not considered a very low calorie diet. It's more moderate level, more using grocery store food as well as conventional dieting, as well as with the meal replacements that we use with the HMR program too. So it's a little bit moderate range, and they are able to just contact their primary care providers if they have any concerns or medications or health problems.
Okay. Now you've mentioned meal replacements a couple of times. What is a meal replacement?
That's a good question, because it can be pretty much anything. If you go to the grocery store ever, there's a lot of pre-packaged foods that are nice little containers, and they have a certain calorie amount to them. So a lot of products that we see in the supermarket every day are meal replacement. So they're nothing new to dieting, but when used in the right amount, it can really promote weight loss and help to maintain that weight loss. So with what we use with HMR, they're very nutritionally balanced. They're a good source of protein. They tend to be lower in sodium. So they're a little bit more of a healthier model, if you will, than maybe what you're finding in the grocery store, because it can be a little deceiving, because we know labels on our food products in the grocery store are a little hard to read sometimes, and we can be a little misled as well. So we want to be careful with some of the meal replacements that we see in the grocery store. So ours, tend to, I, at least a little biased, maybe tend to fall into more of a nutritionally balanced category.
All right. Now you brought some samples here today. What would you like to start out with?
Well, we do have what most patients may think of a meal replacement. They may think of an entree. So that's probably the one that we think of the least as a clinician that we're looking at, because the entrees are one of that we use not as part of the very low calorie diet necessarily. We do more of a protein drink with that one. So the entrees, when we think of meal replacement may be what comes to mind for most people, because they think of a true meal.
Right.
So in essence, an entree is something that comes to mind. So with our entrees, they're all under 300 calories. They're anywhere from 10 to 15 grams of protein on average. We do have some that are, upwards of 18 to 20 grams of protein. So they really do pack a lot of nutritional value in a small amount. And we tend to find with our patients that we work with, in the obesity epidemic, they're overeaters. So it's very kind of deceiving when they see the smaller package, because they do like the volume. So they do get a high fiber content, protein content, which is more filling to them, even though it's a smaller volume. Okay. And we do have options on the entrees, depending on what meal plan they follow, that they can add more volume to that using vegetables.
Yeah.
So that gives them a little bit more to work with.
That's what we were talking about earlier was, is this all I get to eat? Because that's a lot of, people are like, am I going to be hungry?
Yes, we get that a lot. And then patients are surprised. I think it's one of those things they really have to finally just dive in and do it and really see for themselves, like, oh, I can be full on less amount, and realizing that it is a big difference in the nutrient density of the foods that they're choosing.
Yeah.
We have many patients that come to us, regardless of their weight, they tend to be malnourished because of the lack of nutrients that they may be getting, because they're overcompensating in certain areas and not getting enough of another area.
Right. Not eating the right things.
Correct.
Not eating your colors.
That's right. You've been listening.
Yeah. So this says no refrigeration needed and ready in 1 minute. So that's different.
Yeah, and that is a really key selling point for a lot of patients, because they are on the go. Depending on their office space, they may not have refrigeration close by or even freezer space. So they are prepackaged meals that are ready to go. They're cooked and they're just vacuum sealed. So they're not in MRE, they're not dehydrated by any means, but they could be eaten at room temperature if needed. We don't know if we encourage anyone to do that, but it can be if needed. But most of the time, it is something you could be able to heat up a very short amount of time, and they're really portable for that reason. People can travel with them. They can have them at their desk in their work area. They don't have to worry about getting up and going places. A lot of times the break room can be a challenging area to go to at a workplace, not knowing what's in there. So it's nice to just be able to go in there, take your entree, heat it up, and then go back to your workspace.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything to simplify the process helps people along. Well, what else do we have here?
Well, we can go to the meal replacement protein drinks that we talk about,
Okay.
because that predominantly is what we use with our medical monitoring piece as well.
All right.
It comes in a little different packaging. We have our protein drinks that actually are individual packets that can be used, and then we also have a protein drink that's more of a powder in a canister that can be used too. Depending on which meal plan you follow, there's a protocol that we use for your prescription of which plan and which product you would use.
Okay, so you don't have to figure it out on your own. There's people there to help you along the way.
And that's the great thing about Hmr. They've got over 30 years experience in this area, so it really is, you know, right there for us to use. We don't have to recreate the wheel. They've got a lot of great experience. They use the research from what patients are successfully doing to lose weight and keep it off and share that with us. So we're able to kind of be able to share that with the patients at the same time, going, hey, you know, this is what we're seeing, you know, successfully happening with patients keeping their weight off.
Okay, we've got a couple of other things back here. Let's see what else we've got.
Well, we know sometimes not everybody has a sweet tooth, so we do have a hot cereal and a hot soup. So I talk about meal replacements. These may not come to mind for a lot of people. It may just be an entree or a protein drink, but these are a good option because it does give you a little bit different flavors. I'm not real sweet tooth. I like more of the salty, crunchy kind of food. So the chicken soup is a nice alternative because it's not all a sweet drink. A lot of the protein drinks are cold. So sometimes if you don't want something cold all the time, the hot chicken soup is a nice alternative, as well as the cereal. The cereal is a little bit more hearty texture, something you don't have to drink. So you are eating this. And once again, it's not as sweet as our shakes too.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was talking with a colleague earlier about weight loss and eating different things and getting tired of drinking something. Like you want to eat something, you want to crunch on something. So coming into play there, eating something with a spoon or a fork does come in helpful too.
Yes, the hot cereal's been a big hit since it came out.
Good, okay. And then you've got these bars down here that look like candy bars, but I'm sure they're not.
Yeah, there are lots of protein bars on the market out there, so it's really nice that these are a nice alternative to a shake or an entree or even a cereal, because these are a lot more portable. Let's face it, we can throw these in our bag, in our car, you know, just keep them at our desk and have those available. A lot of patients, if they travel, they work great on a plane because then they have something that they can pull out, you know, even in an airport or an airplane that they can have too. So they're really helpful. They're a great source of protein. I mean, they're 10 grams of protein, so they're really going to give you, once again, that nutritional punch that you want to help keep you full till you can get to that next meal or grab some fruits and vegetables or, you know, whichever plan you're following. Or even in maintenance, these are a great tool to use too, because they do keep you in check.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that's some good examples of what the food looks like and tastes like and so forth. So you mentioned earlier with the medical monitoring, the exercise and the physical aspect of this too. So how does that play in to the meal replacements?
Yeah, great question, because we get that a lot, because sometimes we focus on the diet part of it, but we realize that the other equation still counts, that we need to be focusing on being physically active, because we want to definitely make sure patients are keeping up metabolic rate. So the only way naturally to do that is to exercise. So we really work with patients on what they are able to do for activity, on what they have resources to do activities with, to make sure that we can get them, you know, a game plan going so that they do have something in mind to exercise. Sometimes our patients aren't able to do much because of their weight, so we do have to kind of work slowly with them as they're getting weight off, you know, working with that. We do have our Center for Healthy Living that really focuses on getting patients, you know, maybe used to working out, because it may be a whole new concept to them, to actually, you know, I've never been on a treadmill, or, you know, what's an effective way to use a treadmill, those kind of things, or just, you know, whatever they have around the house, realizing that, you know, hey, a water bottle is typically about a 1 pound weight, so you've got, you know, you've got exercise equipment right at your fingertips, and you may not have known that.
Yeah, learning some different life skills there. Now you have some examples here that you brought in that I wanted to talk about when we're talking about physical activity as well. So tell me about these pieces of examples here, because this one here kind of got me like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, they're great tools with weight loss. We see our patients a lot of times be frustrated if they see I only lost a pound, thought I was going to lose more, and, you know, they go down that road. But when they can see, like, this is a pound, it makes a difference.
My goodness.
The challenge is we don't lose it in a section like that, so we lose it all over. So we don't really notice it necessarily unless we're stepping on the scale and seeing that pound weight loss. So when you can visually kind of get your mind wrapped around, oh, that's a pound, that's what I lost, and this is 5 pounds, that's what I've lost.
5 pounds versus a pound right there. That's what you can measure as how much you're losing.
Yes.
So this is the fat, and that's the muscle.
These are the muscle models. So you can see just, comparing them side by side, that the muscle is much more sleek, much more contained, if you will, compact. So when we talk about, gaining muscle, losing fat, that's what we're talking about, because, as you're losing weight and focusing on the activity level at the same time, we want to see patients, gaining more muscle, gaining more strength, more endurance, more flexibility, range of motion, just all over, being more productive. And a lot of that is because they're building muscle and losing the fat that's kind of bringing us down.
And getting healthier along the way. So yes, I would much rather have this than this. So.
Exactly.
Talk to me about who would make a good candidate for this type of approach.
Great question, because it's really ideal for anybody. And I think sometimes when we talk about medical monitoring, that's the first thing that comes to mind, maybe when someone thinks of losing weight or even thinks of the Hmr diet, but it's a lot more than that. So I encourage anyone to just look at everything that's available to them and what might be their best option, or even to call and talk with us, because we can certainly help direct them. If they have certain weight loss goals that they're looking at, then one might be better than another, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for them. Sometimes the whole slow and steady wins the race is a good way to go too, because we do have a lot of patients that have quite a history of weight loss successes and failures. So they really have had that yo-yo dieting that we're trying to get them out of that cycle. And with our program, we focus a lot just lifestyle change, behavior modification. So it may be, focusing on this diet to get their weight off, but we don't expect them to do that forever. It really is, what are you going to do after you get to those weight loss goals, so to keep it off?
Don't want immediate results. Say, I want 10 pounds off by the end of the week, and then I can go back and eat the stuff that I really want to eat.
Exactly. Like trying to get out of that mindset. And we have a lot of history, coming to the table with, some bad habits probably that aren't so healthy, and we're trying to change that around. So it's going to take some practice and some experience, having healthy behaviors in place to get rid of those old habits.
Okay. So what is the shelf life for this type of food?
Most of them is anywhere from 18 months to 2 years. It is vacuum sealed and prepackaged, but they do have expirations on them, so you do need to be mindful of that. One other quality with the products is temperature. So if the entrees are, even though they're shelf stable, you wouldn't want to keep them in a hot car, every day, all day long kind of thing.
Yeah.
The shake products are all dairy based. We do have a lactose-free formula too. They're fine packaged and stored pretty much anywhere, but if you do mix one of them up, then it becomes more unstable as far as being a dairy product and needing to be refrigerated. So you want to be cautious of those things.
Okay. Now, do you have anything for people who are vegetarian?
We do have some vegetarian entrees that I think there's about 4 of them offhand, trying to think how many we have. But all of the products do have either dairy or egg base to them. So the products would, depending on their version of vegetarian, if they're complete vegan or not, how they would be able to manage with that kind of a diet.
Okay. And then speaking of what people can eat and can't eat, what about food allergies? How does that come into play?
Great question, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the other pluses for our entrees, because they're vacuum sealed. You can probably just take a quick glance at the ingredients, but you can pronounce everything.
Yeah.
So since they're vacuum sealed, they don't have all those crazy ingredients in them that really are put into products because of the preservation of them. The vacuum sealing helps with that. So it really is helpful for people with food allergies because of that reason, because the MSG is probably the most common that I think of that people have an allergic reaction to. So a lot of our products are very low sodium and are free of a lot of those preservatives and additives because of the vacuum sealing when it comes to the entrees. Gluten intolerance, gluten-free, or celiac, those kind of things. Some of our products do fall into the gluten-free category, so we do have those labeled as well for patients that are looking for that kind of information.
Okay. Now, with the meal replacement, the physical activity, we hear a lot, you really need to stay hydrated, you need to drink a lot of fluids. What's your recommendation with this approach?
Same thing. Yeah, definitely the same thing, especially with weight loss. When you're focusing on low calorie eating to promote weight loss and you've got high amount of activity going, hydration is very important. There's a lot of processes going on that you really need that fluid balance for. So we really push for non-caloric sources, and predominantly water is the best source. But sometimes we need a little electrolyte replacement. So low sugar or no calorie sports drinks would be good options too. That would help bring the electrolyte levels up and help with any fluid replacement or fluid balance.
Okay. Now, speaking of low sugar, which you just mentioned, what about people who have diabetes?
Great question too. Most of our patients are diabetic. Unfortunately, it just kind of goes with the obesity epidemic. A lot of patients do develop some stage of diabetes that they maybe can able to get off medication or reduce medication. So it's definitely a safe program for them. And that's once again part of the medical monitoring that we look at.
Okay. And then women who have had children, a lot of times what's on their minds is, I need to lose weight,
Yes.
I need to get my body back. What if they're breastfeeding?
Typically, we tell them to wait because there are artificial sweeteners in the product, so we don't want them utilizing those while they're breastfeeding because of that reason. They do need to keep their calorie requirements up for the breast milk production too, so we're not necessarily encouraging too much of a low-calorie plan with those. So anyone who comes to us postpartum, we do kind of assess where they're at with their postpartum, lactation, and just kind of go from there on what their needs are.
Okay. And then also speaking of other medical conditions and people who may have heart conditions and have to stay away from caffeine, you may have mentioned that earlier, but do any of this food, the drinks, anything have caffeine?
No, and that's the one thing I really liked about them. I've worked with in the weight loss industry, it's almost 17 years, and I've really liked the products. They're nutritionally balanced, and you can pronounce everything that's in them, and it doesn't have high amounts of things that we're not sure of what is going on with them. There's no secret ingredient to it for losing weight, and it doesn't have anything that's really going to raise a heart rate artificially that we're looking at too. So I really encourage patients, to give them a try because I think they're very nutritionally balanced and they can help with a wide variety of health problems as well, and getting folks healthier and getting off medications and helping improve those things.
Okay. Now, you have some success stories with this program, and I know a couple of the success stories have to do with a couple of EIU alum that have gone through the program and were actually part of our program here at WEIU. So talk to me about the success stories.
Yes, the success stories are always kind of the heart and goal of the program. It really helps to work with patients and see their success from day to day, week to week, year to year, and seeing them be able to not only get the weight goals, but ultimately, we want to see patients keep that weight off. And we always tell them, the weight loss is the easy part. It's keeping it off that's the hard part. So when we see them, time after time, and they're still keeping weight off, that's really the shining light that we're like, okay, they're walking the talk, they're practicing this new lifestyle, and they're able to manage that weight. Not to say they don't have bumps in the road like we all do, but they know where to come to get help. They know how to get back on track, or they know, the tools that, that we've talked about and worked with them through the program. They're able to utilize that. So those success stories are very helpful. Okay.
And so if people want more information about this program, where would they turn?
They can either give us a call. Our phone number is 238-4774. And our website, of course, has everything out there on it at the Sarah Bush Lincoln website. So it's sarahbush.org website that you can find information and go to the weight management page on there.
Okay, and are there other resources as well that folks can learn from?
There's the Hmr website itself. They can find information. Anyone can join our program, so there's no doctor referral needed. So they can definitely look for information out there as well.
Okay. Well, this has been very informative. Lots of different options out there for different people. And weight loss is something that folks struggle with, I think, for a lifetime. So I think this has been very educational for viewers out there. So if you have enjoyed this program, we thank you for watching and learning about this new approach to weight loss management and getting healthy and living a well-balanced diet life. And we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Production of Being Well is made possible in part by
HSHS St. Anthony's Memorial Hospital, delivering compassionate care close to home. From advanced surgical techniques and testing to convenient care for your family, we promise to make a healthy difference each and every day. St. Anthony's, together, we are better.
Sarah Bush Lincoln Health System, supporting healthy lifestyles, eating a heart-healthy diet, staying active, managing stress, and regular checkups are ways of reducing your health risks. Proper health is important to all at Sarah Bush Lincoln Health System. Information available at sarahbush.org.
Rediscover Paris.
Our patient care and investments in medical technology show our ongoing commitment to the communities of East Central Illinois. Paris Community Hospital Family Medical Center.